Hello everyone and welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're going to be covering estimating products in multiplication. Before we get started, we have to focus on a specific task, and that task is rounding. Because rounding makes numbers easier, and when you estimate, the goal is to make actual questions or equations easier. So let's take a look at these two questions. For a quick review, if you've seen my other videos on rounding and place value, rounding numbers make numbers easier to use. So when you are looking at numbers that are five or more, you end up rounding up to the next largest digit, depending on what place value you're at. And then when you deal with numbers that are either four or less, you round down or you keep it the same. So we're dealing with numbers, for example, 68 and 64, that are in the tens place. So the tens place is likely to change, which means that we have to look at the ones place to change the number itself. Since it's an 8, we're actually going to round up, which means that we go up one tens place and we make the ones place a 0, 70. Whereas with 64, when you round, you have to round down because the 6 is what's potentially going to change, and you need to look at the 4 to make that change. Since it's a 4, it's 4 or less, so we round down, which means the tens place doesn't add 1 or doesn't lose 1, it stays 6, and we replace the ones place of 4 with the 0. And that is a quick review of rounding. So let's get into actually estimating our products. So definitions are incredibly important to me when I teach, when I go about learning anything or really gathering my knowledge base. So when we deal with estimating products, we have to know what it means. The term product means that it's the answer when you're multiplying. So if a question's asking you what is the product of 6 times 4, then you're looking for the answer there. And also, looking forward is the term estimate. Estimate is very similar to rounding, meaning that you are finding a value that is close to the right answer. So it involves rounding, which we'll see with this area model to the right, this rectangle. So our question in blue asks us to estimate the area of the rectangle, then find the exact answer. So I've already given the exact answer just so we can get a feel of what it means to round. So let's look at if we round up the number to 70 and do the multiplication or the estimation, and that is estimating right there to 70, is making the number easier to use so you can find answers faster. And we're also going to look at rounding down, even though it's a 68, and making the number smaller and looking at 60 times 4. With that being said, let's take a look at what we have here. 7 times 4 is 28, but we're missing that 0 left over. So it's actually going to be 280. Whereas 60 times 4, and a little shortcut is to do 6 times 4, which is 24. And not forgetting that 0 we added over, so it's 240. So the object with estimation is to make sure that we are as close to the exact answer as possible. If we were to round up to 70, that would mean that within the area of the area model, there's going to be 272 square tiles. Being that we rounded to 70, we're incredibly closer than if we rounded down to 240. Therefore, we always want to round it to the closest tens place, which is going to be 70. So let's look at another example. So here's our second example. It's the exact same question from the previous example, but with different numbers. So we're estimating the area of the rectangle using the area model, which is exactly the rectangle, then finding the exact answer. Since we already have the exact answer of 46, which is 23 times 2, we're going to look to estimate our question to see what would be closer? Let's say rounding down to 20, do 20 times 2, or is going up to the next tens value from 23 to 30 be closer to the exact answer? Go ahead and if you'd like to, pause the video and see what answer you come up with. So when we multiply 20 times 2, that is 40. And if we were to go about multiplying 30 times 2, that is 60. Which shows us that 40 is 6 units closer than to 46 than 60 is from 46. And that is 14. Therefore, you'd want to go to the closer number 20. And that is estimating using the area model. And to be clear, once again, estimating is finding a value or the answer that is closer to the exact or right answer. So let's look about estimating products in a story problem. So let's take a look at this story problem. Jason's school has 185 fourth grade students. The library has 28 tables and 6 chairs at each table. Can all of the fourth graders sit in the library at one time? So with any word problem, you always want to find the most important information. Typically is going about the numbers within it because those are something that you're gonna have to deal with. So the first major important piece is how many fourth grade students are in the school. The next is 28 tables because it's a number with a unit of measurement. And finally, our 6 chairs at each table. Now the key question is what type of problem is this? Is this an addition problem, a subtraction problem, a multiplication problem? Since this is a multiplication video, you can automatically go about assuming this is a multiplication word problem. But there are keywords and word problems that tell you exactly what type of problem it is. And that keyword in a multiplication problem is the word the, of. The word of in math means to multiply. So if you see the word of, then you automatically can assume that it's going to be a multiplication problem. So the question is ultimately asking us, can all of the fourth graders sit in the library at one time? So we have 28 chairs. And we also have 6 chairs. That's 28 tables, not chairs. So we have 28 tables, and I'm going to label that a T, and then 6 chairs. And knowing it's a multiplication problem, we're going to need to go forward and multiply this stuff. But we're estimating, meaning finding easier numbers to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 28 to 30, and then multiply 30 by 6 to see if it gets close to that exact 185 students. And the answer for us is 180. 6 times 30, and then add 0. Which means that since there was 180 students estimated, and we needed 185 in the school, there's going to be enough tables. And that is how you answer a word problem with estimation. So here's your exit ticket for today in my video. Go ahead and drop your answer down in the comment section. So explain to me how you can use rounding to estimate 3 times 57. For my students watching this video, there's going to be a discussion post on Schoology for you to answer. For anyone else that is not my students physically, but maybe are my students that are checking out this video that haven't met yet, go ahead and drop a comment on your answer, and when you're finished, the actual answer is going to be in the description. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like and have a good day.